In this video, I will be changing the drive belt, or sometimes called the Serpentine belt, in my 2005 Honda Pilot. For this, I'm using a 14mm socket and socket wrench, and I picked up a Continental drive belt, which is product number 1140876. They recommend you inspect your belt every 60,000 miles or replace it every 90,000 miles. I'm also using a large breaker bar. In order to release the tension on the belt, you need to turn the tensioner pulley in a counterclockwise motion using the 14mm bolt there. So now I've already got the socket and ratchet on, and I'm going to use my 2-foot breaker bar to remove the tension on the belt. Now it is a little difficult to film it, remove the tension from the belt, and take the belt off. But if you're not filming it, this is no problem at all. I found it easiest to take the belt off the power steering pump, as seen here, and then once it's off, you can release the tension and just pull the belt out from around the other pulleys. Now, other than this hole, there's not a whole lot of other problems with this belt. I don't see any cracking or any tears anywhere else. However, because it's got that one hole, it's definitely time to swap this belt out. Now, to put the new belt on, I found it easiest to start at the bottom and do the crank first, which is right down there. You can see the belt's on it already. So I came in from the top. I found it was also helpful to reach from around the passenger side tire because you could also reach the underside of the crank. The next pulley that I put the belt on was the air conditioner, which was fairly simple. The third one was the idler, so just bring it up and around the idler, and then up and over the alternator pulley. The final major pulley that I'll put the belt on is for the power steering pump, which is very simple as it's on the top of the engine and highly accessible. And the very final pulley that I'm going to put the belt on is the tensioner. Now, in the little PowerPoint I made, I also put the engine mount in the picture, and that's just to ensure that you don't configure the belt in a way that it rubs on the engine mount. Now, in order to get the belt on the tensioner, you're going to have to pull the belt tight by hand and then put your socket back on the bolt for the tensioner. Otherwise, you will not be able to get the belt around your socket. So now you can see I got the 14mm socket on the tensioner bolt, and I have the drive belt around the ratchet. So now I'm going to turn the tensioner counterclockwise, slip the belt over the tensioner, and then allow the tensioner to move back in a clockwise fashion and tighten up the belt. Obviously, once the belt's on, you're going to want to start your vehicle to ensure that you've put it on correctly, that there's no squealing, and that it's going to be running smoothly over all of your pulleys. Now, I find the belts with the company's name stamped all over them create a bit of an optical illusion, but you can see it moving nice and straight across the power steering pump. A little bit more difficult to see, but looking way down low, you can see it moving around the crank, and it's not moving back and forth or wobbling, so it looks good. And all of the pulleys and tensioner also look good as well. This job would take about 45 minutes to do. You could get it done faster if you're lucky, or if you've done it before. I paid $47 for this belt at PartSource, and that's Canadian. When I called Honda, they quoted me at 0.8 hours for labor, so that'd be $112 Canadian. The belt from Honda was quoted to me at $85 for the belt, for a total dealership cost of $197. So that makes a $150 savings by doing this yourself and taking about an hour of your day to do so. Anyway, thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.